So it was just reported today that James Harden is most likely going to sign with the Rockets in free agency. Now, at face value, it doesn't make much sense for Harden to leave the 76ers for one of the worst teams in the league, but that most likely has to do with money. The 76ers are hesitant to max Harden out, which makes sense because his game is in decline and he's on the wrong side of 30. And for Harden, if the Rockets are willing to give him a max contract, then that likely is going to be the last big payday of his career. And if that happens, then this could pave the way for a Joel Embiid trade to the Knicks. Because if the 76ers end up losing Harden for nothing, they're no longer contenders. And maybe Joel Embiid decides to demand a trade away from the 76ers if that happens, or maybe the 76ers decide to blow it up and rebuild and trade Joel Embiid for assets. So an Embiid trade is looking more and more like a realistic possibility. But should the Knicks actually go after him? I recently put up a poll on this channel. The majority of you guys said yes. By the way, if you haven't voted already, go ahead and let your voice be heard. But I already gave my take the other day. I think the Knicks would be crazy to not at least give the 76ers a call. Joel Embiid is a player that's literally been an MVP finalist in each of the past 3 seasons and finally won it this year. There isn't much Joel Embiid can't do on a basketball court. He's one of the most offensively dominant centers the league has ever seen. He's a good passer for a big man, and he's also a great defender as well. And he would give the Knicks a clear talent upgrade. Now, the young core on this team is clearly very good, much better than expected, but I think the playoffs showed that the Knicks clearly need a much better co-star next to Jalen Brunson. And while the homegrown talent on this team is very good, it more than likely is not going to be good enough for them to eventually win a championship. So to me, the Knicks have to go after Joel Embiid if he hits the trade market. The Knicks are a team that's been stockpiling assets for years now. They have this huge collection of draft picks and talented young players, and now it's the time to consolidate and move some of those assets to land a big time player. There's a reason why the Knicks went after Donovan Mitchell last summer and damn near got him. You need players of those caliber if you're trying to contend for a championship. So you can bet your bottom dollar that Leon Rose and the Knicks front office will go after Joel Embiid if he hits the trade market. But I am going to acknowledge that there is some risk when it comes to acquiring Joel Embiid because he does have a very questionable playoff resume. He's the only MVP in league history to never go to a conference final. And if you look, especially in the last couple of years, his production from the regular season to the playoffs have declined, and he played poorly in elimination games. But I think to be fair to Embiid, he was battling some really bad injuries over the past couple of years. And he even said that in this year's playoffs, he was dealing with a knee injury that should have took him out 4 to 6 weeks over the entire playoffs. So I think those injuries played a huge role in Joel Embiid's production dropping off. So if the Knicks were to acquire Joel Embiid, I think they definitely have to practice load management. These days, all the contending teams load manage. If you look at the Denver Nuggets, who are currently up 2-0 in the conference finals, load management played a huge role in their success. From All-Star break to the end of the season, they were pretty much in autopilot. They had several games where they were resting their starting players. And while some fans were worried about the Denver Nuggets because they didn't look as dominant post-All-Star break as pre-All-Star break, it's clear that the Denver Nuggets knew exactly what they were doing because load management helped them to go into the playoffs with all their key players fresh. And now they're just 2 wins away from the conference finals. So to me, if the Knicks trade for Joel Embiid, a player with a history of injuries and getting hurt at the worst possible time, I know that Tom Thibodeau and the Knicks don't really do load management, but I think that you have to rest Joel Embiid, especially during the home stretch of the season, to maximize the chances that he's fresh come playoff time. And I think if Joel Embiid is healthy come postseason, then the chances that he's going to keep up that production that he has in the regular season goes up. Now, what would a Joel Embiid trade look like? I've seen some Knicks fans in my comments suggest trading them Julius Randle, but I don't think that the 76ers would really want Randle because if they're rebuilding, they're going to want young players. I don't think they're taking Randle unless they could redirect him to another team for additional trade assets. I think a Joel Embiid trade would look something like RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, Emmanuel Quickly, along with several first-round picks, but I'm not sure the right amount. But I think that's what the basic framework of a Joel Embiid trade will look like. And while they would lose some valuable depth, they would instantly become one of the most talented teams in the league with one of the best big threes. And I think that with the right supporting pieces around them, they would definitely be one of the top title contenders in the league next season. And they're still going to have free agency to add some role players around that big three. The Knicks are coming off a very good year. They just got to the second round, but the ultimate goal is to compete for a championship. So if Joel Embiid, a top 7 player in this league, is available, the Knicks definitely need to go after him as long as they can get him for the right price. But anyway, that's going to be it for me, guys. Do you think the Knicks should trade for Joel Embiid? What would your trade package look like? Let me know in the comments. Guys, I'm going to talk about the Knicks all season long, and I'm going to continue to cover these playoffs. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more dope content just like it, please drop a like on the video and hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching and have an amazing rest of your day, guys.